Ever since I got my new MacBook, I've been using Safari like a good little Apple user. Fast, clean, works perfectly fine, but honestly, kind of boring. It's like eating unseasoned chicken every single day. Healthy? Yes. Exciting? Absolutely not. At some point, I just got tired of opening the same browser every day and thinking, man, not this again. So I decided to do something about it and test a bunch of different browsers to see which one I actually like the most. And not just in theory. I use them properly for real work, real tabs, real multitasking, all the usual stuff I actually do on my MacBook. I tested out Brave, which is supposed to be super safe. Then I tested out Arc and the little open source brother of Arc called Zen. And in the end, I even tested out a pretty new browser called Helium. In this video, I'm going to go through all of them and tell you what I liked, what annoyed me, and which one ended up being my favorite. Let's get into it. First up, we have this little browser called Brave. This browser is known for being notoriously safe in comparison to the basic browsers. It blocks ads and those annoying cookie banners straight out of the box, which I really like. It's also known for being more efficient than standard browsers like Chrome, so I would call that a win for Brave. The installation is really simple, just like all of the other browsers. I went to Brave's website and downloaded the installation file. After doing that, I ran the file and that was basically it. After the download was finished, I could easily skip all of those steps that pop up directly after installing it. And what really made me happy is that you don't have to connect any account or email address to use this browser, unlike other companies who want you to do that. Anyways, in the browser itself, you have a pretty basic layout and design, but both of these things can actually be changed. I went to the top right and clicked on the menu to open up the settings. It's quite simple to change the design language a bit in there. I clicked on appearance in the top left corner and went to the theme setting. There are quite a lot of different pre-customized color palettes from which you can choose. I would have wished for a bit more customizability, but yeah, it's good that it even exists. I also found the setting to customize my toolbar. It's possible to simply toggle different tools on and off that you want to have in your top bar. There are also all sorts of different settings, like having your taskbar on the left or right, or the feature to make inactive tabs disappear. Back on the home screen, I also found some interesting customization capabilities. You're able to remove those annoying pre-installed widgets at the bottom and add in a clock, for instance. You can obviously change your search engine or activate that goofy Brave news, but the best part is obviously that you can change the background picture of your starting page. With this, I could really add a touch that fits the color theme I chose before. Now for the last test, I obviously wanted to check the performance difference between the two. For that, I opened up the exact same tabs on both browsers and looked into the activity monitor. First up was the RAM, and I actually was quite surprised because the Brave browser took the win against Safari, which was specifically designed by Apple for Apple. However, in all other departments like CPU usage or disk write, the Safari browser wins, which is sad to see. All in all, I actually like this browser, especially because it has an integrated ad blocker out of the box. However, I don't necessarily think that this browser is really special, so I think it's not for me. Now, let's jump directly into the next browser. This one I think will be one of my favorites. I'm of course talking about the Zen browser. The installation process is once again really simple. You only have to download it from the official website and run the downloaded file. After that, the installation process starts, and this step already looks really premium, which I really appreciate. Another thing I also like here is that you don't have to connect any mail account or whatever to this browser. The layout of the browser is pretty simple and intuitive. On the left side, you have all of your open tabs, and that's basically it. If you open up a new tab, this cool search menu pops up, which really reminds me of the Apple Spotlight search. Another really nice thing is that you can change your color theme by right-clicking on the left side of the browser. I played around a little with the different color variants, which is pretty cool. However, I feel like it's maybe a little restrictive because you can only select pre-selected colors and you can't add in your own picture, for example. Another thing that is possible is changing your toolbar. You can add in a shortcut to your printer or any other thing you want to use often. You can also access the settings, which I was really curious about. After I opened them, I noticed that the settings basically look exactly like the Firefox settings, so yeah, that was quite a disappointment. So let's get to the performance comparison with this browser. Just like before, I opened up the exact same tabs to see the difference between Zen and Safari. When I first opened up the activity monitor to look for the difference in RAM, I almost fell out of my chair. The Zen browser literally eats up 400% more RAM than Safari, which is really crazy. I don't even understand how that's possible, to be honest. For the CPU and disk use, it sadly didn't get any better. My laptop even started turning up its fans, and exactly for situations like these, I think I have something for you. So recently I've been testing out the V12 Ultra Laptop Cooler from LLANO, who are also sponsoring this video to see if it actually makes a difference. And I have to say, it's a pretty serious piece of engineering. Unlike those cheap USB stands that just blow air at the bottom of your case, this one is built well and has a great design, plus it uses a 36 watt DC power supply allowing serious power for those cooling fans. And with a 3-level height adjustable mode, it also perfectly replaces any regular laptop stand with something a lot more useful, because with this stand you also get 5 RGB lighting modes and you can adjust the fan speeds. The standout feature for me is this high elastic memory foam seal. It creates a pressurized chamber, so the air actually goes through your laptop's cooling system instead of just bouncing off the bottom. And with a maximum fan speed of 2800 revolutions per minute, you can reduce CPU and GPU temperatures by up to 25 degrees Celsius in just 90 seconds. For me, that's the difference between my laptop struggling to breathe halfway through a render or everything just working smoothly. It also comes with some software called myth.cool that lets you set it to an AI mode. It's pretty convenient because it just scales the fan speed based on what you're doing, whether that's a heavy browser test or a full-on gaming session. It's also got 3 built-in USB 3.0 ports, which is actually useful if you would use a USB hub anyways. And the RGB is subtle enough that it doesn't look out of place on a professional desk while still keeping things interesting, especially for gamers. It supports laptops from 15.6 to 19 inches, making it compatible with a wide range of devices. It also features a removable dust filter for easier cleaning and maintenance. If you're a gamer or a creator and you're tired of your hardware slowing down when things get intense, I'd honestly recommend checking this out. It's not a miracle cure, but for keeping performance stable during long sessions, it's a great device. I'll leave a link to the LLANO V12 Ultra in the description if you got interested. During Prime Day, LLANO offers discounts of up to 50% off, so come and discover your favorite picks. Now I want to take a look at another browser real quick. I actually am interested in the performance and overall usability of the Arc browser because Zen and Arc are actually really similar. So first up, I once again went to their official website to download it and then executed the file. After opening it, the browser gives you a really cool animation, which definitely was unique and quite different than every other browser I've used yet. However, my happiness didn't really last long since I had to log in with an email address. Grrr! Well, let's give it a chance anyways. It really looks pretty similar to the Zen browser. You can adjust your theme and colors in the exact same way and manage your spaces as well. There are some more features, like being able to access your media directly within the browser, and you can also create these nice little creative notes where you can draw, write, and do whatever you want. Now that's a really nice touch for productivity and research if you ask me. So far I have to say I enjoy it a bit more than Zen except for the login, but let's compare the performance. I opened up the same tabs and compared them. By the way, another nice feature of the Arc browser is that even if you close it whilst playing a video, it still keeps playing in the bottom corner, which is honestly super cool if you ask me. But let's look at the numbers. The CPU is actually quite a bit better on Arc, but on RAM and disk, the Safari browser is a bit better. I have to say that it is a lot better than Zen though, so I would call this one a definite win for Arc, with the small minus of having to log in. So now let's get to the last app I found. I'm talking about Helium. It's a pretty new browser, so I'm really excited to see how this one is gonna perform. I won't bore you with the installation since it's exactly the same. And the setup process was also really similar and easy like the other browsers. However, after the setup, I was really disappointed to see that the design is literally the exact same as Chrome. I mean, sure, I understand that it's based on Chrome, but they could have at least tried to make their own design, right? Well anyways, I tried to play around with the customization of the browser a bit. Yeah, at least you can change the background, but it's still quite boring. Let's hope that the performance is better. For disk write, this browser loses, but in all other regards like RAM and CPU it takes the win, which was actually quite surprising in my opinion. So I would say that this browser is for the people out there that like Chrome but are sick and tired of it taking up literally half of your system resources just to load a single Wikipedia article. My personal favorite has to be Arc. And yes, I know that I complained about exactly the things that Arc does, like having to log in, but for me, the other things outweighed this slight negative. So which browser is for whom? If you're really interested in safety because you want to do some illegal shit on the internet, the Brave browser is for you. If you want a browser that doesn't need a lot of performance, Brave is also a good choice, but Helium is great too. If you want a modern browser that is open source and has the same vibe as Arc except that you don't have to log in, then Zen is definitely the way to go. So that was it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to follow us on all social media platforms as well as our Discord server, and don't forget to like this video.